Hi there, this is Katie, founder and CEO of Pearl Adoptions. I wanted to jump on today and just give a little reminder to waiting families or families that maybe have very young children through adoption, and just remind them of something that they may want to think about as things progress in their adoption experience. Something that has come up as a thought topic in the last week or so through our Pearl families is really the naming process in adoption, and how an expectant mom who delivers a child, even if she is making an adoption plan, has the right and will be naming the child for that initial birth certificate. And so should that mom decide to make an adoption plan and that family finalize their adoption, typically it's a new birth certificate that is issued then with the names of the adoptive parents on that birth certificate. And so as people kind of understand the nuances of this process and the fact that there will likely be a name change in some way, shape, or form from that initial birth certificate that listed the birth parents as the parents to the child, to finalization, where typically a new birth certificate is issued that shows the adoptive parents as the parents to that child. And I just really want families to remember, as they're thinking through adoption and thinking through decisions they're making on adoption, that you should be looking at this from the perspective of, how is my child going to feel when I share this history with them? And how am I going to feel as a parent having this conversation with my child? I find that families often have really set things that they want to do as it relates to a name for a child, and yet later on in their adoption journey, they may realize that the name wasn't that big a deal, and that it's much harder now to be telling their child through adoption that they changed their name, a name that their birth parent gave them. And so I really encourage waiting families to really think about this and think about how you can look at things differently and look at things from the perspective of your child and how they're going to feel about the facts of your adoption journey, and really trying to think ahead as to how you're going to feel about these things down the road. We always encourage our families to really understand the process that's in place on naming a child through adoption, and really understanding that from the get-go, and then incorporating what you know about that into ways that you might collaboratively come up with a name for a child with your child's birth family, so that you don't have to have these conversations with your child down the road, if possible, if the expectant parents are open to that. I just think this is a really tough topic, and names are an important thing for so many people. But I do think that this is something that a lot of adoptive parents need to kind of change their mindset on, and really focus on what their future child might feel like on this topic. So I just wanted to pop in, because this has come up a few times in the last few weeks in the Pearl Adoptions world, and I just wanted to share my thoughts. This is something that I personally dealt with as a prospective adoptive parent and as a young adoptive parent, and my views on this have changed dramatically over time, and after I've really started to look at things through the lens of what's best for my child. So I just want to share that perspective for me, and hope that families who get preparation and education through someone like Pearl really start to think of these topics before they name their child and before they're at that point, so that they aren't looking back at their adoption journey and wishing that they had done anything differently. So I hope that this has helped. I encourage you to go onto the Learn page of our website, and there's a long article we write there about the naming process for an adopted child, and how that process goes, and even some links to some ideas on how you might tackle the name issue in adoption collaboratively with your child's birth family. So I hope that this has helped, and I hope that you read that article, and I hope everyone has a great weekend. Thank you.